Hey everyone, it's Nicholas Wilton at Art to Life. And I've been thinking a lot lately about what makes our art so memorable and why do some things go viral, some things are really popular, and other things just kind of fade so easily. And it always comes back to this idea that uh, experiencing something new and different or seeing something in a new way. And for artists, this is kind of what we're doing. We're reinterpreting um, using color and line and different qualities of picture making and making something new. And I had this really great conversation with a friend of mine who's a photographer writer. His name is Arthur Drooker. He's joining me today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
He's got a really cool project that he's just completed, and it's all about county fairs. And though that piece of Americana that we've all been to, those cool rides and everything. And he's come out with this extraordinary book and images. And we're going to dive into that a little bit today because it's a classic example of taking something that we've all seen and we've all experienced. Like I stopped going to these fairs a long time ago, and now I want to go back because of what you've made here. So tell us about this book. And by the way, the name of the book is called Cosmic Carnival.
Yes.
Yeah. So so what happened here? What happened?
When it comes to working on a project, I never sit down and think, "Ooh, what am I going to do next?" It usually comes to me from a conversation or seeing something or just experiencing life, really. So in this case, I had seen a friend's post on Instagram that she had made at a county fair. It was of people walking into the swine pavilion at the Iowa State Fair.
Right.
And it really amused me. And it got me to thinking about doing something with fairs. So
to clarify, like you're a photographer, but your art form is you dive into like a subject, and so this is like your subject became. I mean, I know because I've been talking to you for the last 6 months. Right. County fairs. You've been going to county fairs, like became your thing.
Right. That's what I did. That's what I did last summer. I went to about a half a dozen county fairs and the California State Fair in Sacramento.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah,
right.
So I feel like I've done my time at fairs.
Yeah.
You know. So, so what was the question?
Well, how did you? So you focused on this. Something triggered your mind. Like
right.
There was something here. Like I was saying, like I don't go to those anymore because I don't like them.
Right. And by the way, I hadn't been to a fair in decades.
Yeah.
But her photograph, it just kind of piqued my curiosity. And it was approaching summer. And summer is when fairs are really happening.
Yeah.
So I went to the Marin County Fair, which is not far from where I live. It's in San Rafael. And I went with my iPhone at first just to explore. And iPhone has a feature for long exposure. So I thought I would take long exposure of rides because there's movement there. And I could capture the blur of rides and the lights and all that. And I was very intrigued with the results. And it started me to think, well, wait a minute, there could be something here. And then I went to the subsequent fairs, not only with my iPhone, but with my Canon 5D Mark II, which is a 35 millimeter digital camera on a tripod with a cable release. So I could make more elaborate long exposures and get more vivid color, more detail than I could probably get with the iPhone. So
yeah, and you just and then so like right away, because these are it's blurring.
Yes.
They're abstracting.
Correct.
And that's what it hit when I saw them. I'm like, these are like paintings.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really amazing.
Yeah.
And so was that planned, or you must have been so blown away when you took a picture with it, and it just started to like.
Yes. I mean, going in that something's going to be blurred. So in a general sense, you kind of know what you're going to get, but you don't know specifically what you get until you make the photo.
Right.
So on the photography side, it could be maybe one shot is 2 seconds. Another shot might be 4 seconds. And it's also where you put the camera on the tripod.
Right.
So you study the ride, you see how it moves,
and
then you put the camera in a certain position and use that as your starting point. And sometimes it works great. And other times you go, close no cigar. Let me try this.
Right.
And it's just constant experimenting, fine tuning.
Yeah.
Again, you have like some version of a preconceived notion, but you got to be flexible enough to like,
which is totally like painting. I mean, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Same thing. And one thing that I think is really interesting, when I was looking at the book and thinking about why people go to these fairs, and it's like an escape kind of from the mundane, the ordinariness of our lives. It's the same old day, summer, day after summer day, and all of a sudden you're going on the centipede killer or whatever the ride is. And in a way, what you're doing is you're giving us a ride, this new kind of experience of like, it's an escape. Like, this book is actually like a carnival ride. It starts out more like the photographs in it are it's more like how we know this to be, and then it abstracts. That's such a cool art.
Right. And that, to be honest, was not something I was conscious about going into it. It's something that emerged. And there's something that I always tell people when I'm working on a project, that you can start off with a germ of an idea, some preconceived notion, but then at a certain point, once you've been working on it for a while, it starts talking back to you, and it tells you what it is and what it really needs to be and what direction to go in. And that's a wonderful moment when you're working on something, not just this, but even with a painting, I'm sure when you're painting or your students are painting, you start somewhere.
It's teaching you and letting you know what it needs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened with this. Initially, it was like, hey, I just want to make some cool shots, long exposures of rides in motion. And then once I had made a few shots, I was starting to see the beginning of something that had a sense of a narrative, a sense of a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
And that only resulted from just being there and doing it and seeing the results.
Yeah, totally. And and they're so they become so ethereal, and they're almost like, I don't want to use the word elevate, but you took this thing that we all know, and they're like amazing colored field paintings, that are, it's like a Rothko, it's just color, but it somehow makes you feel smaller, or it touches you in a way, it's more spiritual in nature, which is such a fascinating thing to draw from the county fair, which is like hot dogs, and kids crying and goldfish in bags, and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But that's a really cool. That juxtaposition is the subject matter, and then the result is just interesting.
But honestly, I cannot take credit for all that in terms of what I was doing at the beginning.
No, of course
not.
This
all emerged.
Of course.
It's part of the process.
Of course.
But then once I realized that there was a beginning, a middle, and an end in terms of how the images could be sequenced, then I became more conscious. And again, the project talking back to me, it's like, I could use a few more shots that look like this and concentrated on that. But that was only once I was deeply into it,
You share with something that blew me away, or is just super interesting. It's sort of maybe totally unrelated, but the rides are rated. The world of these rides, like, because they're giving whoever does this the grand, poobahs of this.
It's the amusement companies, the people who produce the fairs.
They have like categories of rides. Like, there's what are some of the ones?
There's the low level, which is not meant to be a judgment. It's just like, kids rides, for 5, 7, 8-year-old kids. Something very easy, not too crazy.
Right.
And then it graduates to family rides. So maybe the kids are a little bit older, but it's for families, and the rides, they can seat maybe 4 or 5 people, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you elevate to the spectaculars.
They're called,
And those are the rides I concentrated on, because those are the
rides
ones
I like avoid now. But those were the things.
You need Dramamine to go on those rides.
Right.
But with those rides, those are the ones I concentrated on, because those are the ones that they are truly spectacular. They got the best lights, the more interesting movements.
It's so trippy. It's like being able to create an art form that, you know, a child could love, and then a middle-aged person and a teenager, you know, it's like the whole fair experience actually is one art installation. They probably don't think of it that way, but it is interesting.
Yes, and it's interesting you bring that up, because the people who put on the carnivals, so for example, like the Marin County Fair, they will hire a company like Butler Amusements to facilitate, you know, the rides, like where they go, the layout. And the layout,
they're like
it's
curating.
Yes, there's curation involved.
Wow.
And it's, you know, they call it the midway, where the rides are, and the goldfish in the bags, and all this, that, and the other. And it's very predetermined how it's all laid out, and it draws you in. And yeah.
Well, listen, this is so cool, and Arthur's going to be donating or giving as a prize one of his books signed to the lucky commenter. We thought, you know, cool, would love to hear maybe an idea. We'll judge the comments and he'll choose next week. But this idea of, like, you know, what's the ordinary thing that you're involved in that you're making extraordinary? So maybe just leave that. It's a cool idea in the comments below. And there's, in the show notes, there's a link where you can buy this. It's a limited run book. It's beautiful. And leave a comment. There's also, you're on Instagram, all that's there. So check it out and follow Arthur. And it's really cool. He's got some amazing other projects that he's done behind this one, and ones that are coming up. So it's really fun to journey with him on his art escape.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for being here. Okay, thanks you guys. Hey everyone, if you found this helpful, I have a whole lot more to teach, share, and inspire you with every single week. So please join the Art to Life YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Okay, great. Let's do this.